Welcome to Talking Bridal with Bridezilla. Today I am joined by my sister, actually, Nicole. Welcome to the podcast. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Well,
or forcing me on.
You didn't really have a choice, did you? I literally threw this on Nicole yesterday, and I said, "Come on the podcast. You'll be great. It'll be fun. What can go wrong? Nothing."
Plenty.
So that's what editing's for. It's fine. We'll get through it. So I thought it would be good to have you on actually first as my first guest, because obviously you're my sister, but you and me were like the original Bridezilla duo, weren't we?
Probably like, what, 15 years ago was that?
Yeah. And it was like
more.
nearly 15 years ago, when obviously you at the time, you've done the whole beauty industry, you've done, quite a few different services through your career before you've landed on being a skincare specialist. But kind of rewinding back to when I first started Bridezilla, you were working and you were doing some makeup, weren't you? So I was like, let's kind of have a little side hustle going on.
Join forces
and have a separate, and Bridezilla just started as a separate Facebook page, didn't it? We didn't have a website or anything like that. We were just kind of winging it. And then we were like, what should we call the page? And me and you used to have this like little bit of banter going on, like when someone booked up for a wedding.
Like, she's a Bridezilla, you can tell already.
Yeah. So it's like, what should we call the page? And it's like Bridezilla, and it's literally stuck. So that's where it originated from, and I think I have talked about that before. But you were with me right from the start, and then more recently, we've joined forces and opened up our very own hair and beauty salon in Newbury, Studio NK. I'll let you have your initial first, just because
it sounded better.
It did. But anyway, enough on that. Let's not get into an argument.
Studio Nook.
Studio Nook. Oh, that was it, wasn't it?
When we won at the Salon Awards?
We did. We won the Salon UK Awards last year. I think it was last year.
So Best New Salon.
For Best New Salon, which was amazing. It was such a good night. But the guy that was announcing the winners actually pronounced our name as Studio Nook.
I don't think we even noticed. I think we were so excited. We just
drunk, probably. That we didn't notice. We didn't notice until someone said. We were like,
what a terrible name.
Nook. But for those of you that need to know, it's called Studio NK, and we've had that now for a couple of years, and it's going great. So Nicole, you tell us a bit more about what you do now. So you have come into the Bridezilla team. You're back again. Can't get rid of you. You've come back on as a bridal skincare specialist now. So tell us a little bit more about that.
So I've been specialising in skincare now for probably about 8 years.
Yeah.
It was since I had my little boy, I just decided it was time to just literally narrow it down to just what I enjoy the most. And I realised it was skincare. So I'm trained in things like microneedling, dermaplaning, chemical peels, bespoke facials, and that's kind of predominantly what I spend most of my time doing. And I decided I was missing out on, I was really missing being in the wedding industry with you all, and was trying to find out what I could do to sort of join forces with you all. Just suddenly had this idea that I would try and do sort of a prep in the morning for brides. So I would come along probably before all of you and basically prep the bride's skin.
Yep. You can try hair if you like. I'll train you up.
I wouldn't trust me. Just prep their skin and the rest of the bridal party before you lot came along. It's already gone down quite well. I've had a lot of inquiries.
You've already had
a few bookings,
haven't you?
Yeah. And then also as part of that, they will then come to the salon as well. And I will prep their skin. It could be up to a year in advance. So I have already in the past had people that are sort of coming every month in the lead up to their wedding, just to try and sort of get their skin how they want it for the big day. So it kind of creates like a big package. Yeah. It's good.
It's going really good. Yeah. Like I say,
good.
You've already had quite a few inquiries and bookings before you've even launched this, because the whole
it's
point,
not launched properly yet.
The whole point of having you on the podcast today was to talk about it and launch it
with people booking, and I'm thinking, what am I doing?
Yeah, exactly. So and I know that you've run this past all the makeup artists on the Bridezilla team, haven't you? What are their thoughts on it?
Yeah, so I wanted to run it past them first because obviously it's going to be prepping the skin ready for them to do the makeup. So I wanted to be sure that, you know, they were fine with it, and they completely agreed. They said, you know, you've kind of got to have that perfect canvas before you put the makeup on.
Yeah.
So prepping the skin in advance with the right facials like dermaplaning, getting that sort of perfect, smooth complexion first.
So that's sorry to interrupt. That would be something that you would do, obviously, for brides. They can come along and see you at the salon.
At the salon first.
For a bespoke kind of skin consultation.
Yep.
And depending on the timings, whether it's 6 months before the wedding or 2
Yep.
weeks before the wedding, you can put together a quick skincare plan for them.
Yeah. So, you know, you've got some brides that are super organised, and I've got brides that come to me and they're like, oh, I'm getting married next September, like 18 months time.
Yeah.
And I want to start now. What can I do?
Yeah.
So some brides are super organised. And then I've got some that literally will say, I'm getting married, I don't know, in 3 weeks' time.
Yep.
Help me. So there are treatments suitable for every kind of timeline.
Okay.
And then, this whole new idea that I'm doing alongside them coming to the studio to prep the skin is for them to have me at their venue on the morning of the wedding. That's me prepping the skin before all of the team come along. There's a bit of a sort of plan in place for that as well.
So what would that typically look like then? Because I know a lot of people are going to think, well, what does she actually do then? So you come along in the morning.
I come along in the morning with my beauty couch, with all my products,
all your
everything
kit,
I need, all my kit, my towels, everything. And I basically do it's kind of like a mini treatment. So it's 30 minutes. We double cleanse the skin, removing like impurities. We then go in with an enzyme exfoliator, so it's very gentle. You don't need to worry about being red or blotchy or anything after. It's all very gentle, but that's basically just going to polish up the skin, giving it that perfect base. I then go in with a lymphatic drainage massage with ice globes, which is really relaxing. It's good for puffiness, it's good for removing toxins. And then I go in with something called the Sculpt and Lift massage. And to me, I think that's the best part of it.
So what does that actually do?
So I use something called a gua sha tool as well as with my hands. And we basically will chisel the jawline, lift the cheekbones. The results are instant. Like if you did one side and not the other, you would be able to see which side I'd done immediately. So it will literally lift everything.
So this is like giving brides almost like a mini facelift, non-surgical facelift on the morning of their wedding.
Wow. So and that will last the whole day. So it's good at removing sort of water retention, puffiness, and it will literally sculpt their face. And they will see a difference immediately.
So how long will those sort of results last? I mean, you say they last a day, but do they go on longer than the day?
They probably last about 3 days, but it is then something so simple that they could do themselves. It's actually something that I do myself at home most evenings. And I find then, you know, you almost look like you've had filler done, you know, you're so sculpted, but it's natural.
And I guess that obviously boosts their confidence, and it makes everything just flow really nicely, that you can work alongside our makeup artists to create that look, because obviously they're going to go in afterwards and work their magic as well.
And they're going to do their magic with, I don't know, contouring and whatever else they do. So the two combined, but obviously also giving that flawless base with the exfoliation, the cold cryo mask as well that I apply, so that's good for puffiness. You know, if you wake up and your skin's feeling a little bit puffy, it is just the cold ice mask is going to reduce all of that as well. So everything that I do on the morning is about prepping the skin. You know, it's nothing invasive. They're not going to be red. We do like a little mini one beforehand that I give them a kit to do at home with the products. Just to make sure that they're okay with the products on their skin.
So I guess they need to have like a little bit of a patch test.
It's basically a patch test, but they treat it as like a mini facial at home. I'll send them a kit. So there should be no irritation on the day. I say to clients, brides, have a shower before I come, so that you don't need to go and wash anything off after. So they would literally shower, they're good to go. I come in and do my treatment. I won't get anything in the hair. I'm super careful, so that by the time I'm finished, the makeup girls can they're just ready to go. And, go.
This sounds like really incredible, and I'm pretty pleased that, you know, between us and you coming on the team, that we've kind of put this package together, because I know it's already creating a lot of hype and we haven't even officially launched it yet. details of this will be going out on our website very, very soon. And brides that are already booked brides or brides to be that might be listening, you will be able to upgrade and have this service. So I guess the next question that people are going to be asking, what type of investment are they looking at in terms of, you know, how much this kind of concierge service on the morning of their wedding is going to kind of, you know, what do they have to factor into that?
So for on the day prep, I tend to say it's £95 for the first one that I do.
Yeah.
So say that was for the bride. If she then wanted her mum and her bridesmaid and a friend, it's £65 per additional prep that I do.
Yeah.
So that's for on the day.
So you can just sort of put together bespoke quotes depending on what
how
people
many
want done.
So for one basic, it would be £95 for me to come out and do it.
Yeah.
And then £65 for all the additional ones.
Yeah.
For bespoke bridal facials in the studio, they're £100.
Okay.
That is a 90-minute treatment. So it's completely bespoke. So that could be I will look at their skin and do a full consultation, and then decide on the day what I think they need the most. So it might be that they one day need one thing, and then next month they come and their skin's looking completely different, and we do something completely different. So it could be microneedling, dermaplaning, it could be the chemical peels, I could be doing like a steam and cleanse. It could be a range of things in that 90-minute treatment. So that is £100.
So really it's very, very bespoke to everybody's individual needs. It's not just one standard type of facial.
No. And you might even have a different facial every month that you come. As your skin adapts and changes, your skin will then, you will then get closer to reaching what your skin goals are. So for example, if you first came to me with acne, I might start with like a chemical peel in your first treatment with my LED light, which is good for acne. The following month we might move on to something completely different, like microneedling, because we might have cleared it up so much that we're going in with needling for scarring. Like it changes
constantly,
and that's why it's so bespoke.
So to give brides an idea, like how far in advance would you say, like realistically, I know you do get those last minute brides, but if they really, you know, they've booked their wedding and they really want to start a good skincare regime with you, how far in advance, what would you recommend?
I would say probably about 8 months before,
8
ideally.
months before.
But you know, it's not the end of the world if you came and you said, "Look, I'm getting married in six weeks." We could even do 3 facials in that time. Depending on what they are.
So you can turn things around quite quickly.
We
and
can
see
turn
results.
things around. I mean, even if if you again came to me with acne and you were getting married in 4 or 5 weeks' time. You could have a chemical peel and see the results within a day or 2. So, you know, although I would say try and have one no closer than probably 2 weeks to the wedding, just to let everything heal and then the best results come out.
Wow. Okay. Quite a lot to think about. So for brides to be that are listening, or anybody else that are listening, as a skincare specialist, what top tips have you got for brides to be on how they can sort of prepare their skin to get, you know, in the lead up to their wedding? Obviously, apart from having their skincare facials with yourself, what sort of things can they do at home to really look after their skin? And are there any sort of particular products that you use and recommend? Yeah,
so I would say they really need to tighten up their home care routine, because obviously that is predominantly what you're doing the most of. You might come in and have professional treatments, but 90% is what you're doing at home. For clients that are a bit unsure of skincare and find it all overwhelming, I just say simplify it. The main thing is you want to be using decent strength products. You don't want to be picking random things up in boots. They need to be like professional strength. So I'm talking go into a salon and have your skin looked at properly, and then I prescribe them. So even if you're using decent cleanser, exfoliation, a serum for your skin type, or a retinol, and a moisturiser, you know, you want to get it down to just 3 or 4 things. If you were to go into a salon, they will tell you what you need, and that's why that's something that I offer as a consultation, and then I retail products as well. So getting themselves into quite a simple but decent routine where they're religiously using those products morning and night every day, that's the first thing. They want to be upping their water intake, so at least 2 litres of water a day.
I'm rubbish at that. I drink too much coffee.
Yeah,
you do as well, to be fair.
I drink a lot of coffee, but I probably drink about 3 to 4 litres of water a day.
Yeah, no, you're much better than me.
I mean, you'll be in and out of the loo all day, but you need to be drinking. You really need to be upping
lots of
your water, because I can see when a client lies down on the couch, if they don't drink water, you can tell straight away the difference. Okay. And then obviously that's going to affect how your treatments, how your products are absorbed, how your makeup sits on your skin. Everything. Yeah.
So it's really important people drink plenty of water.
Yes.
You say you recommend and retail products. Obviously, I know what products you use at the salon, but just what's your go-to brand? What products will you be using on your clients?
On my clients. So I trained with $1 Million Facial, and that's one of the main facials that I do. Their product range is called MediPlus.
Okay.
So I use all of the MediPlus stuff in the salon on my clients. I use all of this at home. I retail it and I really promote it to my clients. So I absolutely love their stuff. They do high strength products. It's not stuff that you could get off the high street. You couldn't just order it online yourself. You would need to speak to one of us to make sure that you're using the right stuff, because that's how strong some of it is. That if you're using the wrong thing, you could wreck your skin.
I know when I think when you first got it all in and I'd gone a bit crazy with it all, and you were like, oh, you need this and this and this, and I didn't really listen to the proper instructions on what you gave me. And I remember I was using like retinol like every day. Yeah. And you were like, you're only supposed to use that like once a week, or like,
because it's really strong. It's one of those things you need to like gradually integrate into your routine. So you don't want to be. My
skin was like peeling off. It's like, what's going on?
Yeah, if you overdo it, and that's why I recommend they come in and have a consultation, and I will literally prescribe it and explain step by step. This is what you need to use. Yeah. So I love their stuff. It's turned my skin around. I used to really suffer with acne sort of from my early 20s, probably for about 8 to 10 years, and it's probably only just cleared up in the last year or so. And that is from using their stuff and their chemical peels, and like I'm super religious with it, even if I've been out drinking, and if I can't manage anything else, I always wake up and my makeup's been taken off.
Oh God, you're better than me. You're better than me.
Super religious with it.
You do really do look after your skin. So that's great. Are there any products that we know that not everyone hopefully we'll go down that route of purchasing professional products because they are the best. Are there any particular products, because we all know there's people that do shop in Boots and the supermarkets. Is there any particular products, because I know there's certain shampoos that I tell my clients to stay clear of. Is there any products that are sort of on the high street market that you would say, please do not use these on your skin?
I mean, there's a lot out there. I personally, some might not agree, but I really don't think The Ordinary is good at all. Yeah. It's very, very cheap. To be honest, when I saw it, I think I saw it in like House of Fraser or something once. And
didn't you buy me that for my birthday one year?
I did. No,
you've just said that. I'm like,
me under the bus.
Didn't you literally give me a whole package of that stuff?
Because I was like, this looks great. We were talking a long time ago. Yeah. Okay. I didn't know this at the time. All right. It's super cheap. I believe it's been bulked up with quite cheap stuff. Yeah. I'm guilty of using it quite a long time ago myself. Yeah. And it is super confusing. Like, there's so many different strengths. There's so many different chemicals in there that clients are just like, oh, I'll have that. And
they don't really know what they're using.
What they're doing. But also, I think where it is bulked with rubbish, I remember when I used it myself, I ended up with loads of milia, which are like loads of little white, it's basically just clogging the skin. I don't recommend it at all.
Okay, so we'll stay away from that one then.
It's cheap and cheerful.
Okay. Cheerful. My last question, obviously you were the original Bridezilla duo with me, and we have worked on a lot of weddings.
We've had a few Bridezillas between us.
So I think
that was enough to make me stop doing it for a while, actually.
I think you got put off and quite scared, didn't you, from some people? But I think like now, we've really niched down. We've got our ideal brides do come to us now, and we don't have to deal with. I mean, I could probably write a book. That's probably my job for retirement, actually, is to write a book on these Bridezilla stories. But is there any particular story that springs to mind that maybe traumatized you, or did you have like a difficult bride or something embarrassing happen?
Bride, but I had something that was, looking back, it was really funny. I think I hadn't been doing makeup very long at all, and I turned up at this wedding, and the bride sort of welcome me in, and she was fuming, and she was like really, really angry with one of her bridesmaids.
Right.
She was like an adult bridesmaid, and her bridesmaid had been skiing. I don't know if you were there with me or not, or if I just showed you pictures.
No, you showed me the picture because I wasn't working on that wedding.
And bearing in mind I was quite new to makeup at the time, and her bridesmaid had basically had white goggle marks up to here, and then half of her face was bright red with sunburn, but also frostbite all around her lips, so they were like purple and scabbing, and she had like blisters on her face, but she literally had these bright white goggle marks and then from like her cheeks down was completely sunburnt and peeling, and bits of her lips were hanging off.
And she rocked up, so the bride had no idea she looked like that until she turned up on the morning of the wedding?
No, and I think because
as one of her bridesmaids.
Yeah, the bridesmaid didn't know how to tell her. And I think she hoped that somehow she could hide it.
Right.
But there was absolutely no hiding it. And the bride was like, I really hope that you can work some kind of magic.
So I think that problem that sometimes people have is, I'd say unrealistic expectations, or think that we can just completely wave a magic wand.
Miracles.
And
to be fair,
you did a really good job.
I was quite new to. Somehow we hid it. I think the only thing we couldn't hide was her peeling lips. Everything else we managed to hide with this green concealer. I was covering all this green stuff.
Oh my god!
Which sort of counteracts the redness. But honestly, the before and afters, and I just couldn't believe that she'd been that stupid.
Well, at least I suppose they didn't show in the photos, but no. I mean that must have been to throw you in at that deep end when you've just kind of got into doing weddings.
It tested me, and actually we completely covered it. Yeah, it was just hilarious when I walked in, and she was so angry, you could tell, and there was such an atmosphere in the room between them. And
I mean, it's so many stories. Like I said, we could go on, because obviously me and Nicole have worked together on quite a lot of weddings. And obviously we're not mentioning any names, but there's definitely been a few instances over the years, but maybe we'll just do a separate podcast on that one. But all that's left to say is thank you so much for joining me today on the podcast. And we will be definitely putting some more information about these bespoke bridal packages for the morning prep onto the website very soon, but we just wanted you to all hear about it here first. So if you do want to inquire about having this service and having Nicole come on your wedding morning, then you can just drop us an email on our website. But thank you very much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.